0775. I'm at a site I was at years and years ago. We did a water system for this customer. He's been in touch with us ever since. Great family. We've enjoyed working with them, and yeah, I know we've been talking about a solar system for his place for years, and recently we decided to do it this way, different than we normally do. Basically because the site is a difficult site and I couldn't get my driver on this side hill. This is kind of the best place for this ground mount. It's not obstructing any view, taking advantage of this bank, and the angle of the array is mimicking the bank, so it's nice. So he did a 28 panel Sinclair with some KB bifacials on it, and we're going to bring that in to the inverter. So this project is kind of a DIY with us coming in at the end. So everything was built by the customer. He hung the inverter, as you'll see, built the ground mount with the help of a friend or two, and he said he'd never want to do that again. So so I don't think he's going to go into business and compete with us, but this was really nice to roll up on a job and the ground mount was already built. So we do work this way too. We can get you the equipment, you can build the ground mount, and then we can show up and wire it all up. So we got to dress everything, get this 4 strings to 7, land it in the pull box, pull the wire in, and then meter base is down there. We've got a utility disconnect here. He also got it approved and with his utility ahead of time. So, and then he kind of we did a layout back and forth with some pictures of how we wanted to do this. He got the 15K mounted. He came and got the gutter from us. I went ahead and punched the holes for him and got him these parts. I think some of this he did, some of it I did, and we talked about how to do it. That's the solar coming in. And so he did a great job. Got our bypass. So we've never really showed up to a job where everything was kind of hanging in place. So we got to do some tricky grid runs in and out of the disconnect. Still figuring that out. And then we're going to run, this is his entire house, and then we'll have a back and forth with grid and load to our bypass like we usually do. We'll have grid on one side, Sol-Ark on the other. We'll have 2 stacks. That's what James is working on now, is getting to our Giga stacks. We've been using these batteries recently, really loving them. So this thing sits on obviously a movable castered base, and this will be 6 high. We're going to do 2 stacks of 6, so that will be a 60 kilowatt hour stack of batteries, and they'll be closed loop. They are closed loop with the 15K. I did the 205s at my house. These are the 100 amp hour batteries, and you can do 6 high on this. So super easy to build, and the hardest part is getting them out of the crate. But that's what we're working on now. So we'll build these 2 stacks. They're going to sit here in front of the window, and after we get our piping in, and that's why I really like the casters. So you don't have to take this heavy battery system and scrape it across the floor. Just move it out of the way, build it, and then when you're done with your other piping and all your other configurations, just roll that baby in place. So, all right, so we just got here on this job in an undisclosed location, and we're putting together the all new Rubik's. You've seen Arc Lithium in my videos, the blue batteries. This is the same company, same chemistry, same BMS, just in a different form factor, in a stackable version. Everything simple. There's no dip switches. You basically select a master, and this will be 0, 1, 2, 3, and then you close loop that master to the Sol-Ark, or whatever inverter protocol you want to use. You have lots of choices. Okay, and we'll talk about wiring this thing up later. But for now, we're just going to build the stacks. Okay, we're back day 2. And just had the power company come. Got in trouble yesterday. We pulled meters when we were in South Carolina, but Tennessee, we got a wrist slap yesterday. So we're repenting and I think we're okay. The meter, same meter tech came back, so we're good. So I'm just pulling out the feeders out of this panel. We're going to rework this. We've got to take this, which is grid, and get it into our grid disconnect, and then pipe that over to our bypass here, which we have double step lugged. I might still put a PDB in here to handle all to tie all the neutrals together. And so we got to get some junction boxes in, and then we'll call the utility back to get this thing turned back on. Willis is adding the micro air to the customer's condensing unit, and fortunately, which was nice of them, they have the stake-ons and Wagos already put on the wires, so we didn't have to go hunting for connectors, though we have recently stocked up on them. So that's kind of cool. That you only got to make one butt splice. Is that all? Did they provide that too?
So the Herm wire comes with the female. This goes on the opposite side here.
The contactor.
Yeah. So pretty straightforward.
Did they give you a butt splice connector too? Oh, using Wagos. Duh. Nice.
So you just cut that run wire in half. That's pretty cool.
And then they gave you a strain relief to go through the
It's just
the machine.
Right
So.
here.
Nice.
Zip ties
Last day, it's a wrap. This array is 12.6 kilowatts, and we saw 14.2 coming down from it today. So those bifacials really do work, put out a lot of extra power. We got the utility to put the meter back in for us. We got everything buttoned up so the customer can now finish his drywall and clean this corner. It's been open we've been talking about this for several years. These are the new GigaStack. They're 5 kilowatt hours each, and this is a 60 kilowatt hour battery bank, low voltage, 48 volt, and these are sitting on a castered base so you can move it out. There's a lot. We've installed several of these now, and they're working really well, and they're paralleled in this 15K Sol-Ark, our standard bypass. And we added a generator. I had one on the truck, and the customer had a 6,500 watt generator that we went ahead and tested it, so we were able to charge the batteries on the generator. And we talked about future expansion. We could run another house if we need to. He's in time of use settings now, so he'll be able to, you can see what we're doing. We're not using the grid, and that is the goal. So we'll see. I think he's going to be able to do it without a problem with this amount of battery, because they've got several gas appliances, so that's a good thing. All right, if we can help you. The nice thing about this was another thing I will share. This customer, we've known him for a long time, and he tackled this ground mount by himself, and he had a helper, and so I got to show up for the first time having the ground mount already built. All we had to do was wire it up, so that was a blessing. That was awesome. And we talked through getting the wiring trough built ahead, punched, I think, didn't I punch those holes? I punched those ahead of time for him, and just did a quick layout and a little schematic, a little drawing. So when I got here, the inverter was mounted, bypass was up, gutter was up, the solar conduit was on in there, and he put a string in there for me. It was amazing. I feel really spoiled, and so we were able to do everything we needed to do. He had the holes, the disconnect was actually mounted. And the only thing we did wrong, because we were not in our usual state, is we pulled that meter. We got our wrist slapped by pulling that meter. And we're in Tennessee, and we shouldn't have done that. So anyway, if you need help, you want to put a system in, you want to do a lot of the work yourself, we can help you do that too. You can do a complete DIY. You can do a partial DIY. We'll be happy to do a turnkey, or if you're an installer or wanting to be an installer, we can help you with getting you materials and permit packages, drawings, you name it. So, all right, if you got any questions, let me know. Engineer 775 signing out from an undisclosed location.